जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज, शुक्राना मल्टीलिंगुअल दा प्लेटफॉर्म, शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज, हर उस सेवा का, हर उस संगत का जिसने ये ज्वाइन किया और इस सेशन को पूरे भाव से सुना। संगत जी, जैसा कि आप सब जानते हैं कि आज हमारा कंक्लूडिंग सेशन है, विच इज़ द लास्ट सेशन, और गुरु जी महाराज की कृपा और ग्रेस से हम ये पूरा कर पाए हैं। थैंक यू महाराज, बिकॉज आपकी कृपा और नदर और मेहर के बिना ये नहीं हो सकता था। और एज वी ऑल नो दैट दिस बुक इज़ बीन पेन्ड बाय कमांडर अंकल जी, who has got this opportunity to spend the blessed time with महाराज। एंड इस सीरीज में बहुत कुछ महाराज जी ने सिखाया, बहुत कुछ मतलब कि टू बी ऑनेस्ट, अगर मैं अपनी जर्नी की बात करूं तो दैट रिलेट्स टू मच विद अंकल्स सत्संग्स, क्योंकि जब लास्ट ईयर कोविड में अंकल ने सत्संग शेयर किए थे 17 और 16 इंग्लिश में एंड देन हिंदी में, तो हर सत्संग पर गुरु जी सुना रहे थे, इट हैड अ रेलेवेंट पॉइंट एट दैट पॉइंट इन टाइम इन लाइफ, एंड आई कांट थैंक गुरु जी महाराज इनफ फॉर दिस ब्लेसिंग्स। क्योंकि एज अ न्यू संगत जब हम महाराज जी से जुड़ते हैं तो हमें गुरु जी के स्वरूप चाहिए होते हैं, स्वरूप के साथ डिफरेंट कलर के स्वरूप डिफरेंट पोस्टर में चाहिए होते हैं। फिर हमें ब्रेसलेट्स, मंत्र जाप, लंगर प्रसाद, जल प्रसाद, लोटा प्रसाद, सब। बट एंड में गुरु जी ने जब कोविड आया तो ये दिखाया, बड़े मंदिर बंद हुआ, जलंधर मंदिर बंद हुआ, डुगरी मंदिर बंद हुआ, पूरा वर्ल्ड स्टॉप पर आ गया। क्या काम आया? हमारा महाराज जी से डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन। ये सब चीज़ें नो डाउट काम आई और ये सब अपनी जगह थी, बट देयर इज़ नथिंग दैट कैन बीट अवर डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन विद गुरु जी महाराज। तो संगत जी, चाहे हमें कितने भी ब्रेसलेट मिल जाए, चाहे हमें कितने भी स्वरूप मिल जाए, चाहे हमारा घर स्वरूपा से बच जाए, जब तक गुरु जी महाराज हमारे दिल में नहीं बस जाते, हमारे पल पल में, रोम रोम में, हर पल में, 24 घंटे में हम जो कर रहे हैं उसमें ना बस जाए, तब तक चाहे वो दीवारों पे लग जाए, चाहे वो हम मंदिरों में चले जाएं, चाहे हम कहीं भी पहुंच जाएं गुरु जी महाराज के मंदिर में, वो फल नहीं मिलने वाला जब तक वो हमारे दिल में नहीं आते। तो गुरु जी, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ये सीख सिखाने का कि डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट और उसके बिना हमारी गति नहीं है। थैंक यू महाराज, अनंतम अंतम अनंतम शुक्राना। Over to you, Archie Aunty, and thank you, Archie Aunty, for taking this session all throughout till the end. गुरुजी महाराज का बहुत बहुत शुक्राना हम सबको इस सेवा से जोड़ने का, बिकॉज संगत जी सेवा देते भी वो हैं तो लेते भी वो ही हैं। He knows why, what, who and why. तो अब हमें इफ एंड बट में ना पढ़कर जो भी मिल रहा है उसको हमारे को एज अ प्रसाद ग्रहण करना है। तो गुरु जी महाराज, ये सेवा भी प्रसाद है, ये संगत भी प्रसाद है, ये शब्द गुरबानी भी प्रसाद है। थैंक यू फॉर ऑल द सेवादास फॉर दिस सेवा, एंड ऑफ कोर्स गुरु जी महाराज एंड सुरेश अंकल फॉर गिविंग दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी टू अस ऑल। थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू गुरु जी, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू मल्टीलिंगुअल प्लेटफॉर्म, थैंक यू सुरेश अंकल फॉर एवरीथिंग, एंड थैंक यू आर्ची आंटी, थैंक यू सो मच। शुक्राना ऑल द रीडर्स एंड ऑल द जूम सेवादास, मोनिका आंटी, नीलिमा आंटी, अनिल अंकल फॉर डूइंग दिस सेवा। गुरुजी महाराज की मेहर हम सब पर सदा बनी रहे और हम सब पर वो अपनी नाम की दात बख्शते रहें। बस गुरुजी अपने नाम से जोड़े रखना और कुछ नहीं चाहिए। थैंक यू सो मच गुरुजी। जय गुरुजी, शुक्राना गुरुजी। ओवर टू यू आर्ची आंटी फॉर द ब्यूटीफुल एंड ब्लिसफुल रीडिंग फॉर द लास्ट चैप्टर ऑफ शिव पुराना, which is a very very close to my heart as well, and of course to all, because गुरुजी महाराज ने बोला है कि शिव पुराण पढ़नी चाहिए, और एक बार पढ़ो, 2 बार पढ़ो, 3 बार पढ़ो, समझ नहीं आनी, समझ आएगी चौथी बारों। सो थैंक यू सो मच गुरुजी, वो सोझी भी बख्शने के लिए और वो पढ़वाने के लिए, समझाने के लिए कि आप क्या हो, कौन हो। क्योंकि शिव पुराण अगर हम पढ़ते हैं ना संगत जी, तो शुरू में बहुत रिचुअल्स आते हैं, बट गुरुजी ने हमें नहीं कहा कि रिचुअल्स फॉलो करने हैं। गुरुजी ने ये कहा है कि तुसी पढ़ो तो समझ आएगा मैं की करता हाँ। तो उसमें जो महाशिव, सदाशिव की ब्लेसिंग्स हैं, जो उनके रूप हैं, जो उनके आकार हैं, जो उनकी कृपा है, जो उनकी कल्याण है, वो समझ आते हैं। हमें हर चीज़ को रिचुअल से फॉलो नहीं करना है, हमें ये देखना है कि गुरुजी वो सब कर रहे हैं और कर चुके हैं जो सदाशिव और शिव की कैपेसिटी है। तो थैंक यू गुरुजी, वो फिजिकल रूप में आकर हमें प्रूव करने का और रीडिंग कराकर हमें दिखाने का, बिकॉज आप तो प्रैक्टिकल गुरु हो और आप सब करके दिखाते हो और कर सकते हो। थैंक यू गुरुजी, अपनी संगत बनाने का, अपनी जर्नी लगाने का। वी कांट थैंक यू इनफ। सो ओवर टू यू आर्ची आंटी एंड मोनिका आंटी फॉर द सेवा। जय गुरुजी, शुक्राना गुरुजी, बेअंत शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज।
जय गुरुजी महाराज, शुक्राना गुरुजी महाराज, अनंतम 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 शुक्राना मेरे मालिक। Thank you, Sakshi Aunty, for this beautiful note of Shukrana to Maharaj. Each word which you said resonates with each one of the Sangat, I'm sure. Thank you, multilingual Shukrana multilingual Guruji da. बेअंत शुक्राना टू महाराज कि उन्होंने हमें मल्टीलिंगुअल के साथ जोड़ा, और बहुत शुक्राना मल्टीलिंगुअल का इतनी ब्लेसेड सेवा में हम सबको जोड़ने के लिए। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कमांडर अंकल का ये प्यारी किताब लिखने के लिए। उन्होंने एक एक पल महाराज के साथ जो बिताया हुआ एक एक पल है वो इस किताब में मोतियों की तरह पिरोया है, और ये इतनी ज्यादा हमें एक विंडो, हमें एक जागरूकता देता है महाराज की लीला, महाराज की जो मैग्नेनिमिटी है, जो विशालता है उनकी, और जो गहराई है उसके अंदर। बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कमांडर अंकल इस किताब के लिए, एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच सुरेश अंकल इस किताब को पढ़ने का हम सबको मौका देने के लिए, संगत तक पहुंचाने के लिए इसकी रीडिंग, और हमेशा प्रेरित करने के लिए कि हम इस तरह के ग्रंथ्स को पढ़ सके। आज का चैप्टर बहुत ही स्पेशल है, लास्ट चैप्टर है, और हम सबके दिल के बहुत करीब होते हुए ये बहुत ज्यादा हमें गाइड करने वाला चैप्टर है। कमांडर अंकल से हमने बार बार अनंत बार सुना है शिव पुराण की महिमा के बारे में। उन्होंने बहुत सुंदर से अपने बड़े सारे सत्संगों में उसकी व्याख्या भी की है, जिससे हमें काफी हद तक शिव पुराण का इसेंस समझ आता है। और जैसे कि महाराज ने हमेशा कहा है, शिव पुराण पढ़ा करो, कलयुग में वही काम आएगा। और इस चैप्टर में अंकल ने कितनी ब्यूटीफुली इस बुक को इस चैप्टर के साथ कंक्लूड किया है। सो हियर वी स्टार्ट संगत जी, शिव पुराण for the modern times. To understand Guruji Maharaj, we need to try and fathom Lord Shiva in his full glory. In Sanatan Dharma, Vedas are considered the purest form of knowledge delivered by the Brahm himself. The process to apply this knowledge in our lives is explained in the Upanishads, documented by the enlightened rishis. The Upanishads, in a way, interpret the knowledge contained in the Vedas. The stories of people who practically applied this knowledge to their lives is given in the Puranas in the form of individual satsangs. Between these three sets of scriptures, there is pure knowledge, applied knowledge, and practical experiences. Let me draw an analogy here. There is electric charge like one sees in the clouds. This is pure science like the Vedas. The process which allows the harnessing of this electric charge in form of electricity is called applied science like the Upanishads. Finally, the stories of people who practically use this electricity to their benefit are like satsangs in the Puranas. What is Shiv Puran? It is a compendium of satsangs or sharings that seek to glorify Lord Shiva by recounting how Lord Shiva bestowed his grace on his devotees over many epochs. By the same logic, the light of divinity containing the experiences of Guruji's devotees is very much a modern day Puran too. Let us start with an example. The very first satsang that the Shiv Puran enumerates tells the reader how Lord Shiva's name is enough for salvation through the experience of a Brahmin who led a sinful life and became a demon after his death. His widow kept to the true and narrow path for some time, then became debauched, was remorseful, heard the Shiv Puran being recited at a temple, and was saved from the just punishment of her sins after death. Instead, she was brought up to the service of Lord Shiva and Mata and Mother Parvati. One day, when she inquired about Mother Parvati, was told that her husband would have to listen to Shiv Puran for salvation. The devil, who was unwilling to listen and difficult to catch hold of, was tied to a tree, and the Shiv Puran was recited in front of him. That his voluntary listening was enough for his full
जी आंटी जी
जी हेलो जी आंटी
आंटी आपकी वॉइस बहुत लो आ रही है, प्लीज आप डिवाइस के नियर आ जाएं। जय गुरु जी।
जी हूँ तो मैं आंटी काफी नजदीक अभी ठीक है जय गुरु जी am I
जय
audible?
गुरु। यस आंटी, नाउ यू आर हियर।
All right. I'll repeat the last paragraph. She petitioned Mother Parvati to rescue her husband and was told that her husband would have to listen to the Shiv Puran for his salvation. The demon, who was unwilling to listen and difficult to catch hold of, was tied to a tree, and the Shiv Puran was recited in front of him. That involuntary listening was enough for his evil deeds to be expiated. In today's times, we are also doing satsangs through sharing the blessings of our Guruji. The characters have changed, and so has time, but the overall theme of redemption through the grace of the holy name, through the intercession of Guruji, remains the same. Never take satsangs lightly. They are not only conduits of grace for the listeners and speakers, but they also clear the path for all devotees to be at the lotus feet of Guruji, Lord Shiva himself. Attending a satsang is not a casual affair. It is not about passing time or building a personal network. It is not about eating to a fill. It is certainly not about socializing. Satsangs are our road to salvation. It's a path to be with Guruji himself at his lotus feet. Satsangs can make a difference to our lives, present and future, right up to eternity. The attendees of the Shiv Puran satsangs are all the gods. They are pictured in glory. Their dresses, their makeup, their jewelry, their residences, even their vehicles are seriously cool. Indra has an elephant. That is, Lord Indra has an elephant, and Lord Vishnu has the Garuda, the king of birds. In contrast, Lord Shiva has but a slow moving bull for his vehicle. He is shown to be the grand yogi, the ascetic who wears a garland of skulls, has an elephant skin for his upper garment, is smeared with ash, and often goes into deep meditational trance or samadhi. He has no house of his own, but a cave on the solitary hill of Kailash, even as his devotee Kubera is the treasurer of wealth. Once, Mother Parvati tried to ensure the couple could have a regular house for themselves and got one built. That residence too ended up with their demonic devotee Ravana, while Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati themselves continued to live in a forest. Still, Shiva is the god of gods. He runs the universe. The divine is under no imperative to conform to human mores or beauty, ugliness, or morality. On the occasion of his marriage with Mother Parvati, Lord Shiva arrived wearing the crescent moon as a crown on his matted hair, with Ganga rappelling down, his locks and ashes smeared all over his body. The groom's party was no better. Seeing his form, the bridesmaids fainted. Lord Shiva became resplendent with his devotees prayed to him to take up a form that was more appropriate to the matter at hand. That is, his wedding to Lady Uma. And he did that to please his devotees. Did Guruji not tell us the same thing? He said that he was appearing before us in a human form only to allow mortals like us to survive his majesty. His original form would be like connecting a 10,000-volt electric source, him, to ordinary domestic bulbs, us. Even if we ardently wanted to, we could not bear the charge of his being. Remember the Bhagavad Gita episode when Arjun needed divine eyes to be able to see Lord Krishna in his Virat Swarup. As it is, devotees could not look at Guruji even in his human form without dropping their eyes. His aura was so intense. He used to say that his lovable Sangat looked like insects in the palm of his hands. So appearances are deceptive. Appearance does not guarantee greatness, and greatness is not a slave to appearance. The beauty of the soul is more important than physical beauty, which is only skin deep. Nothing exemplifies it more than Lord Shiva himself. Just because Guruji appeared in front of us as a human, that did not make him human. That we could be in the same room as him, share our lives with him, is a testimony to his noble and loving greatness. Another vital learning the Shiv Puran provides is about love. Not only does the Puran have a myriad of tales about how Lord Shiva graces his devotees, how he fights their enemies, how he protects them, how he nourishes them, but also how he gives them spiritual counsel and guidance. Lord Shiva, with Goddess Parvati, also represents the ideal divine couple, Shiva Shakti, forever united. They are essentially one, even representationally as Ardhnarishwara, a half each of the same unitary being. Their difference, their difference is in the form, not in the essence. In the Shiv Puran, Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati are represented in a state of the highest level of conjugal love. The divine couple are first seen as Lord Shiva and Goddess Sati. The great goddess's father is Daksh Prajapati, who is the lord of the Praja, a divine king. Goddess Sati is born as his daughter via the intercession of Brahma, the creator, who wants to see the world multiply. As the divine creatrix, she is Mula Prakriti and takes physical form only to satisfy the desires of Brahma and Daksha. She marries Lord Shiva. King Daksha does not maintain good relations with his son in law. He sees Lord Shiva as an ascetic, someone who does not belong to the same rank as the gods. He performs a big yajna, but does not invite Lord Shiva or Goddess Sati to it. When Goddess Sati learns of the yajna, she desires to attend it because she is naturally attached to her maternal family. Lord Shiva counsels her that it is better not to go to any place uninvited. But when she is unable to restrain herself, Lord Shiva, her husband, chooses to let her exercise her choice. At the yajna, Goddess Sati finds that no seat has been kept aside for him. She is so stung by her father's hidden brutality, connivance, and his insulting behavior that she commits suicide by consuming herself in the inner yogic fire. Her loyalty and love to Lord Shiva are unassailable. Her name is a byword for conjugal loyalty and honored in the world Sati Vrata. When Lord Shiva is told of what has happened, he is implacable. He orders his army, led by the formidable Veerbhadra, to march to Daksh's place and destroy the yajna. Veerbhadra, who is Lord Shiva's anger made manifest, lays waste to sacrificial altar and its tomb. The attending gods are insulted and defeated. Veerbhadra himself fights with Lord Vishnu, who is forced to retire to his loka with the realization that the commander of Lord Shiva's army is undefeatable. Subsequently, a thrilling narrative ends with Daksh being forgiven and the gods' bodies being restored. Lord Shiva himself is inconsolable. He does not let go of the body of Mother Sati. Their bond is primal and eternal. He wanders the worlds with her body in his hands. He is wounded and insane. Lord Vishnu, who has the job of preserving the universe, realizes the state of affairs cannot go on any longer. He intercedes with his weapon, the Sudarshan Chakra, using it to cut the sanctified body of the goddess Sati into pieces. These pieces fall on the earth as great boons and are worshipped in the form of Shakti Peeths of the mother to date. Once goddess Sati's body leaves his hands, Lord Shiva realizes it is all gone. He restrains himself as of yore and assumes his role as god of the gods. Through this satsang, the divine couple sets a beautiful example of marital love and loyalty in front of us to follow in our own lives. Guruji Maharaj always insisted that devotee couples come to him together. He insisted that our first and foremost responsibility is towards our family. He also said that taking care of family is the best form of Guru Seva. Guruji's Seva at the cost of family responsibilities would not earn his approval. However, the narrative does not end here. Shiva and Shakti are the parents of the world. Without one or the other, the world cannot exist. So Mother Sati is reborn as Devi Parvati to marry Lord Shiva. She undergoes a long and arduous penance to win his hand. Lord Shiva tests her devotion. He sends the seven wise sages, the Saptrishis, to her hermitage. Their task is to dissuade her from attempting such an inconceivable aim, marriage to Lord Shiva, who destroyed karma. They try their best, but Devi Parvati is determined. She tells the sages that she knows who, in essence, Shiva is, and their clever arguments will not trick her. Lord Shiva is impressed by what the rishis tell him, but decides to confirm it for himself. He goes to Devi Parvati in the guise of a Brahman. He asks her attendant friend Jaya about the aim of Devi Parvati's penance. Jaya tells him the whole story, at which the Brahman exclaims that he would like to listen to it from Devi Parvati directly. Lord Shiva does not like middlemen between him and his devotees. Neither does Guruji Maharaj. Both insist on a direct connection with their devotees. Devi Parvati reveals that the aim of her penance is to marry Lord Shiva, at which the Brahman makes several disparaging remarks about his character. Devi Parvati is furious. She decides to remove herself from the presence of this fraud of an ascetic and to take her own life. At that moment, Lord Shiva comes to his own form. Devi Parvati's quest is granted. Such is the love of this incomparable couple. Their divine Leela teaches us many lessons that wife and husband be unswervingly loyal to each other, that they trust and respect each other, and that they not allow any trespass into their love. Notice How Lord Shiva respects and trusts Goddess Sati enough to let her make her own decision, even though he is aware, he is aware of the calamity that is to follow. He lets her have her way, even though he discusses the option of staying put and not going to her father's house for the ceremonial yajna. He does not foist his decision on her. He does not lose his cool or become disappointed. That comes later. For that moment, he handles it calmly and responsibly. In the process, sorry, sorry, Sangaji. In the process, Lord Shiva also sets an example for all husbands to adopt and follow. The Shiv Puran has other stories that also exemplify the power of a woman's devotion towards her husband. There is the tale of Shankachura and Tulsi, who marry each other out of love at the behest of Lord Brahma. Shankachura was Sudama, the beloved friend of Krishna, who was cursed by Radha to be born as a demon because of trespassing into their chamber. He is an Asura king, but because of his devotion to Lord Vishnu, he is virtuous, powerful, and just. He wins over the earth and the Devas, who has always want their thrones back. They appeal to Lord Brahma and Lord Vishnu, who send them to Lord Shiva, who in turn sends them to Rudra, his own manifestation. Lord Vishnu cannot kill Shankachura, for he is a devotee of Lord Krishna. The demon has been granted an impenetrable armor of Krishna as a boon by Brahma. Shankachura has another boon. He cannot be defeated as long as his wife Tulsi is true and loyal to him. He faces the armies of Rudra fearlessly. Prince Kartikeya finds him unconquerable and indeed dies, only to be born again at the touch of the Rudra's hands. Veerbhadra cannot wound him, so finally Mother Kali herself takes to the battlefield. The mother fires mantric missile after missile at him. The mother fires mantric missile after missile at him. He effortlessly answers them with weapons of his own and with occult mastery. He decides to kill him. She decides to kill him with an unvanquishable weapon, but is forestalled from doing so by a divine voice. Now Rudra has to enter the battlefield. Even he cannot him, for the conditions for his death have not been met. He therefore asks Lord Hari to take away Shankachura's Krishna Kavach as well as to approach Tulsi. Soon after, an old Brahmin, mendicant, approaches Shankachura. He asks for the armor of Krishna, and the noble demon gives it to him, though he knows it puts his life in peril. Then Lord Hari goes to Tulsi in the guise of a husband and seduces her. This is the fruit of Tulsi's penance for Lord Vishnu in another time. When she realizes Hari is not her husband, she curses him to become a stone, as he had been hard hearted, robbed of his two defenses. Shankachura dies by Lord Shiva's Trishul in the battlefield. A momentous story teaching us how noble a man can become, how protected and triumphant he can be, only if his woman stands by his side. A just man, truly loving and truly loved, does not fall grace. A husband, thus, must love and respect his wife, and she must do the same. The power of devotion is incomprehensible. The Shiv Puran narrates another incident, which later becomes the seed for the Shiva Sati disunion. Lord Ram and Lakshman are moving around in the forest searching for Devi Sita when Lord Shiva and Goddess Sati pass by. Lord Shiva folds his hand and pays respect to Lord Ram. That makes Goddess Sati curious. How is that the Lord of the Lords is bowing to a humble man? Lord Shiva corrects her misperception. He tells her that the bowman she has seen is Lord Ram, the avatar of Vishnu, who is his Lord, which is why he was praying to him. She wonders, how can that be? How can a husband worship someone he himself created? Lord Shiva tells her that it is he who had given the responsibility of running the universe to Lord Vishnu. As his devotee, Lord Vishnu carries out the assigned task with such phenomenal devotion without seeking anything in return that a delighted Lord Shiva decides to make him foremost amongst the gods. He asks the gods to worship him and worshipped Lord Vishnu himself. Essentially, Lord Shiva gave Lord Vishnu his power of attorney. That is what devotion and selfless seva towards Guruji can do. If a devotee like Lord Vishnu does not ask for anything, Guru kolo mangona, Guru no manno. Goddess Sati does not easily trust this tale and decides to test Lord Ram. Unfortunately, in a moment of forgetfulness, she goes before Lord Ram as Sita. Lord Ram sees through the disguise immediately and greets her respectfully as Goddess Sati, while also inquiring about Lord Shiva. Goddess Sati is now convinced and goes back to Lord Shiva with regret and remorse. However, the damage is done. Lord Shiva comes to know of her doing and he mentally relinquishes her. This event then ties up to Daksh's Yajna, Goddess Sati's devotional sacrifice, the eventual destruction of the altar, and the extreme forgiveness Lord Shiva extends to Daksh. These are but a few satsangs from the legends defining the Shiv Puran. There are many, many more. Guruji urged devotees to read the Shiv Puran. He asked that it be given 5 complete readings, telling devotees that it could only be then understood. Careful readers would note that Shiv Puran self subscribes to the view that 5 readings be given. The Shiv Puran is also a way of approaching Lord Shiva and a means for him to grant us his benediction and protection. It is a way of doing Jap Yoga too, because it gets us to remember Lord Shiva and Goddess Parvati. Lord Shiva will not let his devotees suffer loss. He could not care less about whom a devotee is fighting or how great his trouble is. It is the same with Guruji Maharaj. He goes out of the way to take care of his devotees. Lord Shiva and Guruji are one and the same. Like Lord Shiva, Guruji is ever present, continuing to take the poison out of our lives, giving us a better future, even as He purifies us so that we can become blessings ready for His devotional manifestation in our own lives. So, so deep, so, so vast, and yet so, so beautifully simplified. Commander Uncle, thank you so very much for this entire book and especially this chapter. You have actually spotlighted the essence of Shiv Puran in this one chapter. And we are just too blessed to come across such a crux, or I would say again, use the word essence of something so magnanimous and magnificent. Sangatji, I'll also like to read acknowledgements which are given at the end of the book by Uncle. My first thank you goes to the spirit of devotion that inspired this book. However, since my devotion is in turn inspired by Guruji Maharaj, my foremost thanks has to go to Guruji Maharaj now and forever. I then thank my wife Kamlesh for encouraging me in this endeavor, recounting our time with Guruji Maharaj in minute detail, and for being the vital part of my life's journey. I could not have made it so far without her love, care, and support. I also thank my lovely daughters, Jaya, Shubha, and Ella, for all the love and support they have given me. Next, I'm grateful to General Kapoor's family, Colonel Joshi uncle, R.P. Singla uncle, Rashmi Singh Aunty, and all others mentioned in the book for giving me their approval to cite them and their satsangs. I also express my gratitude to all my friends in the Sangat without whom this book could not have been completed. I also take this opportunity to make a special mention of Mukul Agarwal uncle for his unstinted support and encouragement right from inception to the publication of this book. A lot what a lot of what appears in this book as my own understanding has been derived from the teachings of great gurus, saints, learned writers, Sangat, and my family elders. I'm grateful to all of them for their quiet contributions in making me who I am today. Finally, from the bottom of my heart, I thank all those unidentified Sevadars who made it possible for me to connect with Guruji and receive his blessings through their satsangs and memorabilia I have received over the years. Jai Guruji. Now, about the author, that is our commander uncle. Rajkumar Sharma, or Commander Uncle, as lovingly known to Guruji's Sangat, hails from a small town situated in northern Indian state of Uttar Pradesh. He is a loving husband to Kamlesh, a caring wife, a father to three amazing daughters, an IIT alumnus, and a retired Indian Navy commander. After leaving the Indian Navy, Raj worked for several multinational firms and traveled the world, reluctantly as he hates flying in doing so. Raj came into Guruji Maharaj's presence on 18th February 2001 and immediately found his calling, being under Guruji's refuge and giving up the spheres of his life in Guruji's hands. With this book, Raj has shared his personal journey from his time spent with Guruji's physical and eternal forms. It is a collection of his learning of being Guruji's Sangat. The book flows like a story, which is perfect because Raj has been known to be a passionate storyteller. Perhaps Guruji noted that too. So once again, thank you very much, Commander Uncle. हम सब कोविड के टाइम में मैं पर्सनली कमांडर अंकल के सत्संग के साथ जुड़ी और जो वाकई ही गुरुजी ने आइडेंटिफाई किया होगा कमांडर अंकल को कि एक दिन वो बहुत ही गहरे और बहुत ही अच्छी एक्सप्लेनेशन वाले और बहुत जागरूक करने वाले स्टोरी टेलर बनेंगे, तभी तो गुरुजी ने उनको इतना भेद दिया, इतना करीब रखा और कितने ऐसे एक्सपीरियंसेस दिए जिससे आने वाली जनरेशन्स को गुरुजी के रियालम के बारे में कुछ, बहुत बार तो हम नहीं पा सकते, पर कुछ समझ आ सके. So once again, with a very, very grateful heart, I move towards the conclusion of this book, and I extend my deep gratitude to Commander Uncle for this amazing gem of a book. My heartfelt thanks to the entire team of Shukrana Multilingual, headed by Suresh Srivasan Uncle. Uncle, thank you very much for this initiative. I thank each one of you who are listening to this and have listened to all the readings. And I'm personally thankful to everyone who picked up a seva at last moment, jab bhi koi crisis hua. Thank you very, very much. Together, we see this day and moment today. where we conclude this book. Thank you, Guruji Maharaj, for making it possible for us. Anantam, Anantam, Anantam Shukrana, Guruji Maharaj. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Namaste. अभी हम आज्ञा ले सकते हैं संगत जी।
जय गुरु जी, शुक्राना गुरु जी, बेहद शुक्राना गुरु जी महाराज। धन्यवाद महाराज एंड धन्यवाद आर्ची आंटी। तहे दिल से आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रियाना। थैंक यू सो मच गुरु जी फॉर दिस ब्यूटीफुल रीडिंग एंड सेवा, हमें सुनने का और सुनाने का। एंड देयर आर नो वर्ड्स टू से शुक्राना टू गुरु जी महाराज, क्योंकि उनकी कृपा और मेहर और रज़ा के बिना ये होना ही मुश्किल था। हम जितना मर्जी कर लें कि हम कर रहे हैं संगत जी, बट वी ऑल नो फॉर द फैक्ट दैट हर चीज़ गुरु महाराज की ही कृपा और मेहर और नज़र से हो रही है। इवन ये एक पत्ता भी जो है वो गुरु जी महाराज की कृपा से ही हिल रहा है। एंड देयर सो मेनी टाइम्स कि हम कुछ भी करना चाहें वो पूरा नहीं हो पाता फॉर वट एवर रीज़न। एंड पहले बुरा लगता था, बट अब नाउ वी ऑल अंडरस्टैंड कि अगर कुछ हो रहा है तो भी गुरु जी की मर्ज़ी है, और अगर नहीं हो रहा है तो भी वो गुरु जी की ही कोई रज़ा है और कोई टाइमिंग है। तो थैंक यू आर्ची आंटी फॉर दिस ब्यूटीफुल एंड ब्लिसफुल रीडिंग। और शुक्राना आपका भी तहे दिल से कि आपने थ्रू आउट द सेशन इसको पूरा बिगिनिंग टू एंड मैनेज किया। ऑफ कोर्स इट इज़ नॉट पॉसिबल विद गुरु जी महाराज इज़ ग्रेस, एंड हमेशा हर चीज़ में तो शुरू कराना गुरु जी महाराज का है ही। एंड सुरेश अंकल का और मल्टीलिंगुअल प्लेटफॉर्म का भी शुक्राना कि हम सबको ये सेवा बख्शने का गुरु जी, हर उस रीडर का, हर उस सेवादार का, हर उस संगत का जो लॉगिन करती है, हर उस नोन और अननोन फेस का जो इस सेवा से डायरेक्टली इनडायरेक्टली जुड़ा है। शुक्राना ज्योति आंटी फॉर ऑल द पोस्टर्स एंड ऑल द इनवाइट्स। शुक्राना टू ऑल द जूम सेवादास फॉर लॉगिन, और ये संडे का टाइम जो फैमिली का टाइम है हमें स्पेयर आउट करने का और हमें ये ब्लिसफुल जर्नी सुनाने का। थैंक यू मालिक ये अंकल की रीडिंग करवाने का और हमें सुनाने का, बिकॉज वी ऑल नो दैट कहीं ना कहीं कमांडर अंकल की जो ये रीडिंग है, जो ये सत्संग है, वो हम सबसे क्लोजली रिलेटेड है, हमारी पार्ट ऑफ अ जर्नी है। क्योंकि देयर इज़ नथिंग कोइंसिडेंस इन लाइफ। हम सब नई संगत, ओल्ड संगत जो भी है, सब सुनते सुनते ही अपनी जर्नी में आगे बढ़े हैं। और कमांडर अंकल की जो सत्संग है, नो डाउट बहुत सारे मैसेजेस कैरी ऑन करते हैं। संगत जी रीडिंग ज़रूर ख़त्म हो रही है, बट हमारी लर्निंग ख़त्म नहीं हो रही है। वी ऑल हैव टू मेक श्योर कि जो अंकल के थ्रू गुरुजी हमें समझा रहे हैं, मांगो नहीं मानो, और डायरेक्ट कनेक्शन में विश्वास रखो और फैमिली को इम्पोर्टेंस दो। क्योंकि देयर वाज अ ब्यूटीफुल एग्जाम्पल, और एक सत्संग था अंकल का कि एक बार अंकल ने बोला कि आज तो मैंने इतने इतने सत्संग अटेंड करे दिन में, और मैं शाम को इस कंट्री स्टेट में जा रहा हूँ। तो गुरुजी ने पूछा, ऑल दिस वाइल बच्चों का ध्यान किसने रखा? जब तू सत्संग अटेंड कर रहा था, भाग रहा था, तो किसने ध्यान रखा? तो उन्होंने कहा वाइफ ने। तो कह रहे हैं तो सेवा तो उसकी हुई, तेरी तो नहीं हुई, क्योंकि तू अपनी घर बार रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज छोड़ के सत्संग में गया। तो संगत जी सत्संग में जाना कोई बुराई नहीं है, ब्लेसिंग्स हैं, नो डाउट है। लंगर प्रसाद में भी है, चाय प्रसाद में भी है, स्वरूप में भी है, लॉकेट में भी है, ब्रेसलेट में भी है, लोटे में भी है, चंदन टीका में भी है। बट दिस इज ऑल फेल if we are not connected to Guruji Maharaj in direct connection, telepathically in 1-to-1. Because हम जितना भी शब्द, गुरबानी, शिव पुराण पाठ, शिव मंत्र जाप कुछ भी कर लें, अगर हम मालिक से 101 कनेक्ट नहीं रख रहे हैं और संगत के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, there is no point to anything. It is our journey of self evaluation, self realization towards our Guruji Maharaj. तो बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है कि हम अपने घर परिवार को टाइम दें, अपने बच्चों को टाइम दें, और उन सबको बैलेंस करते हुए अगर हम सत्संग में जा रहे हैं, गुरुजी बुला रहे हैं, तो नो डाउट, बट गुरुजी की अगर हम बात माने, अगर हम उनके हुक्मों को पे सुने, तो असल सेवा वही है जो घरवाला घरवाली की, घरवाली घरवाले की सेवा करे, रक्षा करे, प्यार करे, और वो दोनों मिलके बच्चों का पालन पोषण करें। और यही अंकल के मैसेजेस में भी है, और ये वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट सीख है हम सब के लिए। हमें भागना नहीं है, क्योंकि गुरुजी ने घर घर में जो जलवा दी है कोविड में, अगर आज गुरुजी महाराज की कृपा हम सब पे नहीं होती संगत जी, हम सेकेंड वेव सर्वाइव नहीं कर पाते। बहुत बुरा समय आया, हर जगह वर्ल्ड में आया, बट गुरुजी ने हमें उस समय इतने सत्संग, इतने बानी से जोड़ा, इतने पाठ से जोड़ा हम सब बच गए, क्योंकि उस पाठ की शक्ति ने हमें बचाया। पर संगत जी, आज जब सब कुछ ठीक हो चुका है, हमें वो पाठ, जाप, सिमरन नहीं छोड़ना है। गुरुजी अपने नाम की दात देना, अपने इस पाठ सिमरन की दात देना, हम सबको अपनी शरणी लगाना, कि हम कभी ना भूलें कि गुरुजी आप ही करता हो, यू आर द डूअर, वी आर जस्ट द पपेट्स। थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू सो मच गुरुजी महाराज, multilingual platform, Suresh uncle and all Sevadas and Archie aunty, Monica aunty and Anil uncle for your seva. Thank you so much Guruji. Jai Guruji, Dhan Dhan Guruji, Vaah Vaah Guruji. बेअंत शुक्राना महाराज।